Hey guys, it's Miss Coconut. Join me tonight. I'm making coffin nails. Thank you so much for joining me. So tonight I am my own camera person. So bear with me. Hopefully everything will go as planned and I will be able to roll out my video on coffin nails. So what gave me the idea to make the video is the fact that I love rusted things. I love finding old nails, railroad tracks, buildings, etc. Some of them have funny shapes. So I love to collect them and they're great to use in your work. And so when I started researching the coffin nails, I'm trying to figure out, well, how can I get some coffin nails, you know? And isn't this a cute little coffin? I made this tonight just for this video. So once I start researching, I realized, of course, you can't find coffin nails anymore because they don't really make the coffins like that. Everything is metal now and people cremate, so it's hard to find those items. Now I know that people sell coffin nails, but I'm almost 90% sure those are fake. So you might as well learn how to make your own. So for this, you will have to go to the cemetery and you will have to pay the spirits that guard the cemetery upon entrance, and also determining upon which grave site you're going to take the earth from. And I have some sample here. Now this is make-believe graveyard dirt because I don't like to play around unless I'm really working with it. So this is my substitute just for the purposes of this video. You would find the grave that speaks to the purpose that you wish to use the nails for. And when you think of iron nails, you think of the elements of being able to fix something down, seal something, make something stick, etc., etc. And what you are doing in essence is using something that is called contagious magic, which is very potent, where you're taking the essence of the spirit of the deceased one, transferring that energy is transferred from that spirit into the iron nail, and then you'll be able to use it in your workings. Some of the types of graves that you might want to consider is an ancestor first. That's always your strongest line of defense in my eyes. That's the way I was taught, and that's the way I believe. Soldiers, murderers, occultists, babies, the list goes on. You should research what type of nail you want to use in your protective work. And I don't mean what type of nail as in shape, but what is the purpose of the protective work that you're doing. So you'll start with new nails, of course, because that's all we have. And I like to work in odd numbers. So I have 3 nails. See? All shiny and new. You're going to take them outside, beat them up, and then sit them in some water, vinegar, salt, and just let the elements do its thing. And a few weeks later, you'll have some nice rusty nails like this. These look all old, but they're not. And then you would take the rusted nails now and grab your mini coffin. So I must confess, I forgot to go back to get the mini coffins when I was supposed to, so I had to improvise. So I just kind of made one up. Ooh, spooky. And in this coffin, you're going to throw the graveyard dirt of the murderer or the occultist, or whichever spirit you want to work with. And you will take your nails that are rusted and you will place them in the coffin. And I'll show a better picture at the end. And when you've done that, you will bury this coffin in the ground for about 3 months. Try to have a part of your garden or your yard where you aren't interested in beautifying it, somewhere where the dogs won't frequent, and you know, you're not planting flowers basically. So you bury this coffin with the rusted nails for about 90 days, and once you dig it up, in essence, it will be infused with the spirit of the grave dirt of the spirit that you bought the dirt from. Now, can I tell you, you may feel as if you're not ready to go to the cemetery, but buying dirt online almost guarantees that you're getting powder. Many times those items are not real, they're fake, they aren't bought and paid for with anything except your own money. So you want to get into the habit of going to the cemetery, getting familiar with the spirits that guard the cemetery. You'll notice many times when you go to the cemetery, you'll see your iron gate. That's to contain the spirit. So you come to the entrance, you throw a few pennies, and you say, "Spirits of the gravesite, allow me in to do my business if you don't mind." Something to that effect. And then you go around and you collect information. I would say go first, collect information on the grave sites. So I like to see names, when did they die, and then go look them up, because you're not going to know by looking at their grave what type of spirit that site carries. You're going to have to do a little bit digging in some cases. Now, sometimes it's obvious. I've gotten dirt from an occultist site, because all on his tombstone he had all of the symbols that I recognize, so I was happy to receive his grave dirt. Now, once the dirt has been marinating in the coffin for 90 days, you want to then take it out of the coffin. You leave the dirt in the coffin. You take the nails out of the coffin. They have now been consecrated with that spirit, and you will store them. Like this one I have here, murderer. And you will store them until further use. This work is about being proactive, right? You don't wait for war when you get shot. You prepare for war before the first shot is fired. So this is something you'll do ahead of time. Do your research so that you can do several of these at a time. So in essence, you would have, when this is done, a coffin box full of graveyard dirt, labeled murderer, so you'll know what it's for. And then you store this until the next time you need to do that process of burying nails again. As long as the box hasn't deteriorated too much. If it has, just get another box and start over again. And then you should have several containers full of nails that have been infused with the spirit of the dead. And they should be labeled murderer, child, occultist, ancestor, etc., etc. You, of course, pay the spirits with something sweet, or some pennies, flowers, or some liquor, like I like to say. And upon leaving the cemetery, you want to spin around 3 times, confuse the spirits so that they do not come with you. And now that ends my session for today. The next time we talk about this particular subject, we will discover what to do with these nails now that they have been endowed with power. Well, I thank you so much for joining me this evening, and as always, Om Shrim Breezy.